Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
General Hospital fans, brace yourselves for an explosive Friday. The upcoming episode promises to deliver a whirlwind of drama as Port Charles finds itself at the center of multiple crises converging simultaneously. November 14th brings viewers an intense hour filled with interrogations that will shake families to their core, political machinations threatening to destroy careers, and mysterious phone calls that hint at dangers lurking just beneath the surface. From the Collins family facing their worst nightmare to surprising alliances forming in unexpected places, this Friday's installment will leave audiences breathless and hungry for more. Family tensions reach breaking point. The Falconeri household finds itself in absolute turmoil as Dante faces an impossible situation that blurs every professional and personal boundary he's ever maintained. Standing in an official capacity as a law enforcement officer, he must interrogate Charlotte Casadini, the young woman he once considered his stepdaughter during his marriage to Lulu Spencer. The weight of this responsibility shows clearly on Dante's face as he adopts his most authoritative detective demeanor, fixing Charlotte with a penetrating stare that makes it abundantly clear this is no casual conversation between former family members. From the beginning, don't leave anything out, Dante commands with stern intensity, his voice carrying the unmistakable edge of someone who refuses to let personal feelings interfere with professional duty. Charlotte appears visibly shaken under his scrutiny, her usual teenage confidence crumbling as she realizes the serious consequences her actions have triggered. The irony of the situation cuts deep. Charlotte managed to successfully execute the most crucial part of their ill-conceived plan by obtaining Britt Westburn's purse and retrieving the key fob that granted access to Professor Henry Dalton's restricted laboratory. Yet despite her successful role as the mastermind who made entry possible, it's Rocco Falconeri who now bears the brunt of the consequences, having been discovered red-handed inside the lab by the formidable Professor Dalton himself. Lulu Spencer stands nearby during this tense interrogation, her presence adding another layer of complexity to an already complicated family dynamic. Her protective maternal instincts war with her understanding that Charlotte must face accountability for her choices, creating a palpable tension that fills the room. Political warfare erupts. Meanwhile, across town at what should have been a civilized mayoral debate, absolute chaos has erupted as Laura Collins confronts acting police commissioner Ezra Boyle with the fierce determination of a grandmother protecting her family. Professor Henry Dalton crashed the political event in spectacular fashion, dragging a mortified Rocco before the assembled crowd and demanding his immediate arrest for breaking and entering. The theatrical nature of Dalton's entrance suggests carefully calculated timing designed to inflict maximum political damage on Laura's campaign. Laura's legendary composure shatters as she directs her considerable fury toward Boyle, her voice ringing with maternal authority as she declares, "Nobody is going to arrest my grandson." The confrontation puts Boyle in an extraordinarily awkward position, caught between his official duties and the political firestorm brewing around him. The situation becomes even more complicated given that Rocco's father, Dante Falconeri, has just assumed the role of acting police commissioner, a detail that transforms this incident from a simple juvenile matter into a potential scandal that could destroy careers and reputations. Political analysts watching this unfold recognize Boyle's strategy immediately. He appears poised to transform Rocco's laboratory intrusion into the biggest scandal Port Charles has witnessed in recent memory, using the incident as ammunition to demolish Laura's mayoral campaign. The question hanging in the air becomes increasingly urgent. Will Laura Collins be forced to make the ultimate sacrifice, conceding the mayoral race to her sleazy opponent, city councilman, just to protect her grandson from prosecution? The stakes couldn't be higher as family loyalty collides head-on with political ambition. Young hearts in crisis. In a quieter corner of Port Charles, Emma Scorpio Drake sits with tears streaming down her face as Gio Palmieri attempts to provide comfort and reassurance. "It's going to be okay," Gio tells her with surprising confidence, adding, "I know what to do." His steady presence offers Emma a lifeline in her moment of despair. The weight of their failed mission hangs heavily between them. Emma's tears stem from the devastating realization that their carefully planned rescue operation intended to liberate innocent animals from Professor Dalton's laboratory experiments has not only failed spectacularly, but also ensnared their friends in serious legal trouble. The situation feels even more absurd given the shocking discovery that Dalton's Port Charles University laboratory contained no animals whatsoever. The space resembled nothing like the traditional research facility Emma had infiltrated previously in California, where actual laboratory animals awaited rescue. Instead, they found only rows of computers and file folders crammed with complex scientific formulas, mysterious work that raises far more questions than it answers. By now, the entire group of young conspirators likely knows the truth about the empty laboratory. Even as Charlotte and Danny face stern lectures from their respective parents about responsibility and consequences. Gio's determination to fix the situation radiates from his body language as he comforts Emma, suggesting he's already formulating some plan to make things right. Whatever solution he's devised, Gio appears utterly confident in his ability to resolve the crisis and protect his friends from the fallout. Celebration and suspicion. At the Davis residence, a completely different emotional atmosphere prevails as Alexis Davis wraps her daughter Molly Lansing Davis in a warm embrace. Molly practically glows with happiness, her face lit up with excitement as she grins from ear to ear, a stark contrast to the tension permeating other corners of Port Charles. "I come bearing great news," Molly announces with barely contained enthusiasm, leaving her mother visibly curious about what could inspire such joy. Speculation runs wild about the source of Molly's elation. Perhaps she's celebrating a significant courtroom victory, one of those career-defining cases that young attorneys dream about winning. Given Molly's passionate dedication to justice and her impressive legal acumen, such a professional triumph would certainly warrant this level of excitement. Alternatively, the news might be deeply personal, perhaps something related to her relationship or family planning that Alexis has been eagerly awaiting. The mysterious nature of her announcement only heightens the anticipation, offering a rare moment of pure happiness amidst the surrounding chaos. Unlikely alliances form. While Molly celebrates with Alexis, her father Rick Lansing finds himself in the lion's den at Sonny Corinthos' residence, attempting to forge an alliance that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. The half-brothers have spent their entire lives locked in bitter rivalry, each viewing the other with suspicion and resentment born from decades of conflict. Yet here stands Rick, making an offer that catches even the unflappable Sonny off guard. "I'm prepared to prove to you how valuable I can be," Rick declares, his tone suggesting he holds cards that could change the entire game. The timing of this offer proves particularly intriguing given that Assistant District Attorney Justine Turner's carefully constructed case against Sonny will begin unraveling the very next day. Could Rick's promised value lie in his ability to dismantle Justine's prosecution from within? His insider knowledge of prosecutorial strategies combined with his legal expertise could prove devastating to any case against Sonny if his motives are genuine. Sonny regards his half-brother with characteristic wariness, his sharp instincts warning him that Rick's sudden cooperation likely masks hidden agendas. Their lifetime of antagonism doesn't dissolve overnight, and Sonny knows better than to trust Rick at face value. Yet the potential advantages of having a skilled attorney working to protect rather than persecute him cannot be ignored, forcing Sonny to carefully weigh the risks against the rewards. Parental confrontations continue. The interrogation tour continues as an unmistakably unhappy Jason Morgan confronts his son Danny with the hard questions no parent wants to ask. Whose idea was it to break into Dalton's lab? Jason demands, his tone making clear he expects complete honesty. Unlike the emotional displays happening elsewhere, Jason maintains his trademark stoic demeanor, but the disappointment emanating from him cuts deeper than any raised voice could. The young conspirators genuinely believed they were embarking on a noble rescue mission, liberating defenseless animals from painful experimentation. Emma's previous success infiltrating Dalton's California laboratory where actual animals were housed led them to assume the Port Charles facility operated similarly. The reality they discovered proved far different and infinitely more puzzling. Dalton's PCU laboratory contained nothing remotely animal-related. instead housing sophisticated computer systems and files filled with complex chemical formulas and scientific notations that suggested research far removed from traditional biology experiments. Jason's investigation seeks to establish the hierarchy of responsibility within the group. When all layers are peeled back and excuses stripped away, the truth becomes unavoidable. Emma Scorpio Drake served as the operations ringleader, drawing her friends into a mission based on assumptions that proved dangerously incorrect. The question now becomes whether the parents will hold Emma accountable as the primary instigator or distribute responsibility equally among all participants. Mysterious communications. At General Hospital, Britt Westburn clutches her cell phone with barely concealed urgency as she speaks to someone on the other end of the line. "I really need to see you," she says, her voice carrying undertones that suggest this conversation holds significant weight. The identity of her contact remains tantalizingly unclear, opening multiple intriguing possibilities. Viewers know that Britt will soon face a threatening confrontation with Jen Sidwell, but the calm, almost pleading quality of this particular phone conversation suggests she's speaking with someone else entirely. Sidwell represents one level of the criminal hierarchy, but intelligence suggests an even more powerful figure operates above him, someone who commands such respect that even the dangerous Pascal shows signs of intimidation. Could Britt be reaching out to this mysterious mastermind, hoping to leverage connections that might resolve Rocco's legal predicament? Or does her urgent need to meet relate to something completely different, perhaps concerning her own precarious position within this shadowy organization? Next, Port Charles is once again witnessing one of its most prominent families crumble under the weight of scandal, betrayal, and life-threatening consequences. The Quartermaine dynasty, known for weathering countless storms throughout the decades, now finds itself facing perhaps its darkest chapter yet, as family bonds fracture and loyalties are tested in ways no one could have predicted. The affair that started it all. The foundation of the current crisis can be traced back to a shocking betrayal that blindsided everyone. Drew Cain and Willow Corinthos embarked on an illicit affair that sent shockwaves through the Quartermaine household. What began as stolen glances and secret meetings quickly spiraled into a full-blown scandal that would tear apart not just one marriage, but the entire family structure. Willow, who had been viewed as the picture-perfect wife and devoted mother, found herself entangled with her husband's own uncle, creating a twisted family dynamic that no one saw coming. Michael Corinthos Quartermaine, Willow's husband, was left reeling from the discovery. The man who had built his life on trust and family values suddenly found himself questioning everything he thought he knew about his marriage. But the revelation of the affair was only the beginning of his suffering, as fate had even crueler plans in store for him. Drew's transformation into a villain. As the affair came to light, Drew began revealing sides of his personality that had remained hidden beneath his heroic facade. The man who had once been celebrated as a decorated Navy SEAL and respected businessman transformed before everyone's eyes into someone virtually unrecognizable. His behavior became increasingly erratic, spiteful, and vindictive. The mask had slipped, and what emerged was a man driven by selfishness, ego, and a dangerous disregard for the consequences of his actions. Drew's descent into villainy accelerated rapidly. He showed no remorse for the pain he caused Michael, nor did he display any concern for the children affected by his reckless choices. Instead, he doubled down on his actions, becoming more aggressive and combative with each passing day. Family members who once trusted him implicitly now found themselves looking at a stranger, someone capable of inflicting emotional and psychological damage without a second thought. Michael's nightmare and Drew's cold heart. Just when it seemed things couldn't get worse for Michael, tragedy struck in the most horrific way imaginable. A mob-related explosion left him with severe burns, plunging him into a medical crisis that required intensive care and multiple surgeries. The attack served as a brutal reminder of the dangerous world the Corinthos family inhabits, where violence can erupt at any moment and innocent people pay the price. What made Michael's suffering even more unbearable was his Uncle Drew's shocking response to the situation. Rather than showing compassion or concern for his nephew's life-threatening injuries, Drew displayed a cold indifference that stunned everyone who witnessed it. He showed absolutely no mercy, refusing to set aside their personal conflict even as Michael fought for his recovery. This callous behavior revealed the true extent of Drew's transformation, proving that whatever humanity he once possessed had been completely overshadowed by his selfish obsessions. By the time Michael finally returned home to recuperate, the damage to family relationships had become irreparable. The young quarterman heir, already dealing with the physical pain of his injuries and the emotional trauma of his wife's betrayal, now had to face the reality that his uncle had become an enemy rather than an ally. Drew's war against the Quartermains. Drew's vengeful nature reached new heights when he was finally expelled from the Quartermain mansion. Rather than accepting the consequences of his actions with dignity, he declared war on the entire family. One by one, he began targeting each Quartermain member, using his business connections, inside knowledge of family secrets, and sheer determination to cause maximum damage. His campaign of revenge knew no boundaries. Drew leveraged his position and resources to undermine family business ventures, spread damaging information, and create chaos wherever possible. He seemed intent on punishing not just Michael and Willow, but every single person who had dared to stand against him or support his ouster from the family home. The Quartermains found themselves under siege from someone who knew all their vulnerabilities and had no qualms about exploiting them ruthlessly. Jason's return and rising tensions. Adding another layer of complexity to the already volatile situation, Jason Morgan and his son Danny moved into the Quartermain mansion following the devastating loss of Sam McCall. The decision was made with the best intentions, allowing Danny to stay close to his siblings Scout and Rocco during their time of grief. The children needed each other, and keeping them together seemed like the right choice for their emotional well-being. However, Jason's presence in the mansion created immediate friction. The already tense atmosphere between Drew and Jason, brothers who had never quite found solid ground in their relationship, deteriorated further. Drew viewed Jason's move as another personal slight, an invasion of territory he still considered partially his own despite being kicked out. The brothers' mutual animosity added yet another source of stress for the family, who now had to navigate the delicate balance of supporting Jason and the children while dealing with Drew's escalating hostility. The situation placed enormous strain on everyone living under the Quartermain roof. Every family gathering became a potential powder keg, with tensions simmering just beneath the surface. The children, already dealing with the loss of Sam, found themselves caught in the crossfire of adult conflicts they couldn't fully understand. The nurses' ball bombshell. As if the family didn't have enough to deal with, the annual nurses' ball delivered another explosive revelation that would forever change the Quartermain family tree. Gia's paternity was revealed in spectacular fashion during the glamorous event, providing what can only be described as a grand slam moment of shocking truth. The revelation unfolded in front of Brooklyn Quartermain, Dante Falconeri, Olivia Quartermain, and Ned Quartermain, each of them processing the life-altering information in real time. The paternity reveal sent shockwaves through the family and raised countless questions about the past, present, and future. Brooklyn, who had formed a close bond with Gio, suddenly found herself navigating a completely new family dynamic. The revelation affected multiple branches of the Quartermain family tree and forced everyone to reconsider relationships they thought they understood. The breaking point, Ned's medical crisis. The accumulated stress of all these overlapping crises finally took a catastrophic toll. Ned Quartermain, the family patriarch who had been trying desperately to hold everything together, reached his breaking point outside Bobby's restaurant. In what should have been a routine confrontation, Ned found himself face-to-face with Drew Cain, the man responsible for so much of the family's current suffering. The argument between them escalated quickly, with Drew hurling accusations and Ned defending his family's decision to cast Drew out. The confrontation grew heated, with both men refusing to back down. Then, without warning, Ned clutched his chest and collapsed, his face contorted in agony. The stress, the anger, the sheer weight of everything the family had endured, all culminated in this terrifying moment as Ned suffered a massive heart attack right there on the street. Drew's reaction to Ned's medical emergency revealed the depths of his cruelty. rather than immediately calling for help or showing any concern for his family member's life. Drew accused Ned of faking the heart attack. He claimed Ned was pulling a fast one, staging the whole thing as some kind of manipulation tactic. With those callous words, Drew simply walked away, leaving Ned collapsed and struggling for his life on the cold pavement. The moment crystallized exactly who Drew had become. Here was a man so consumed by his own grievances that he literally left his nephew's father-in-law to die rather than offering even basic human compassion. Drew's departure from the scene while Ned lay dying stands as perhaps his most unforgivable act in this entire sordid saga. Heroes in the nick of time. Fortunately for Ned, 3 heroes emerged just when he needed them most. Emma, Gio, and Britt happened upon the scene shortly after Drew's abandonment and immediately sprang into action. Emma quickly assessed the situation and realized the severity of Ned's condition. Working together, the 3 Good Samaritans provided crucial first aid, keeping Ned stable until paramedics could arrive. Their quick thinking and compassionate response likely saved Ned's life. While Drew walked away without a second glance, these 3 individuals demonstrated what true character looks like in a crisis. They stayed with Ned, comforted him, and ensured he received the immediate medical attention he desperately needed. Life hangs in the balance. Ned was rushed to General Hospital, where doctors quickly determined the extent of the damage to his heart. The diagnosis was grave. Ned required emergency bypass surgery, a complex and risky procedure that would determine whether he would survive this ordeal. The medical team worked swiftly to prepare him for the operating room, knowing that every second counted. Now, as Ned fights for his life on the operating table, his family gathers at the hospital in a vigil of hope and fear. Olivia Quartermaine, Ned's devoted wife, sits surrounded by family members who have set aside their conflicts to support each other during this critical moment. Brooklyn keeps close to her mother, both women struggling with the terrifying possibility that they might lose the man who means everything to them. The waiting room has become a space of shared anxiety, where the Quartermaines huddle together, praying for positive news from the surgical team. Every minute feels like an hour as they await word on whether Ned will survive the emergency bypass surgery. The irony isn't lost on anyone present. The stress that Drew caused may have literally killed one of their own, and now they can only wait and hope that skilled surgeons can repair the damage. The outcome of Ned's surgery will not only determine his fate, but potentially reshape the entire Quartermaine family dynamic moving forward. As they wait for news, one question echoes through everyone's mind. Will Ned Quartermaine survive? Or has Drew's reign of terror finally claimed its first victim?
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.